10-minute tidy daily. You walk into your friend's apartment and it looks spotless. It's not magazine perfect, but just organized. And you probably think they cleaned for hours knowing you were coming. The truth is way more boring than that, because they spend exactly 10 minutes every single day tidying up. And that's literally the only reason their space doesn't look like a disaster zone. Most people let everything pile up until it becomes completely unbearable. The dishes multiply in the sink, the mail covers the counter, and clothes end up living on that one chair. Then you finally snap and spend your entire Saturday doing a massive cleaning marathon that leaves you exhausted and bitter. The boring alternative is setting a timer for 10 minutes and just maintaining what you already have. You're not deep cleaning or reorganizing your entire life. It's just putting things back where they belong and wiping down a surface or two. Your brain actually responds to environmental chaos with stress hormones. Walking into a messy room legitimately increases your cortisol levels before you've even started your day. Maintained space tells your brain that things are under control, which translates directly into better focus and lower anxiety. 10 minutes is short enough that everyone has the time. Eating the same breakfast. Think about your typical morning when you stumble into the kitchen half asleep and stare into your refrigerator for what feels like an eternity. You're trying to decide between eggs, cereal, toast, or maybe that leftover pizza. And your brain is already exhausted before you've even eaten anything. Meanwhile, your coworker shows up to the office every day with the same overnight oats or scrambled eggs. And you probably think they're living the saddest breakfast life imaginable. That coworker is playing a completely different game than you are, and they're winning without you realizing it. Every single decision you make throughout the day drains a little bit of your mental energy, and those tiny choices add up to complete exhaustion faster than you think. By the time you've decided what to wear, what to eat, which route to take to work, you've already burned through a significant chunk of your decision-making capacity. Successful people automate the boring, repetitive decisions and free up their brain for stuff that actually matters. When you eat the same breakfast every morning, you eliminate one decision from your routine, and your brain thanks you by having more capacity for important work later in the day. Taking actual breaks, you finish a tough meeting or complete a difficult task, and you tell yourself you deserve a break. So you grab your phone and start scrolling through social media. You put the phone down feeling more tired than before and wonder why the break did nothing to recharge you. Your brain needs real rest during the day, but most people have forgotten what rest actually looks like. Scrolling Instagram or watching YouTube is not rest because you are only switching from one stream of input to another. Your mind stays in receive mode, processing information, judging content, and reacting emotionally to whatever appears on the screen. People who keep steady energy through the workday often do something that looks strange. They take breaks where they do nothing at all. It sounds boring until you understand the point. They might stare out a window, sit in silence, stretch without looking at anything, or close their eyes for a few minutes. When the brain experiences true stillness with no incoming information, it shifts into a different mode. This is when it processes what you have taken in, connects ideas, and restores mental capacity. Athletes know muscles need rest between sets to perform well. Your brain follows the same rule. Next time you take a break, put your phone in another room and exist without screens for 5 minutes. The boredom you feel at first is not a problem. It is a sign that your brain is recovering from constant stimulation and learning how to rest again properly over time. Tracking your spending, you're sitting at your computer 3 days before payday, checking your bank account balance, and experiencing that sinking feeling when the number is way lower than you expected. You genuinely cannot figure out where all your money went this month because you didn't buy anything major or go on any shopping sprees. A few coffees here, a lunch there, maybe some random stuff online, but nothing that should have destroyed your budget like this. Your friend who always seems financially stable isn't making significantly more money than you are, but somehow they never have that panic moment at the end of the month. The boring truth is they know exactly where every single dollar goes because they track absolutely everything they spend. Not because they're cheap or anxious, but because they refuse to lie to themselves about their actual spending habits. When you don't track your expenses, your brain creates a completely fictional version of your spending that's always way lower than reality. You remember the deliberate purchases, but conveniently forget about the subscription that auto-renewed. The convenience store stops, the delivery fees, and all those tiny transactions that individually seem harmless. Those forgotten expenses add up to hundreds of dollars every month. And they're the reason you're always confused about where your money disappeared to. Tracking forces you to confront uncomfortable truths about your actual behavior versus what you tell yourself about your behavior. You might discover you re-spending $200 monthly on food delivery when you thought it was maybe $50. That awareness creates the opportunity to change, while ignorance just keeps you stuck in the same broke cycle. Nobody wants to track their spending because nobody wants to face the reality of their choices. But that's exactly why people who do it end up building actual wealth. Same bedtime, every night, your weekend rolls around and you finally get to stay up late binge-watching that show everyone's talking about. You tell yourself you'll just catch up on sleep by sleeping in on Sunday morning. Monday hits, and you feel like you've been hit by a truck, struggling through the entire week until Friday when you can finally crash again. The cycle repeats endlessly. And you blame your job or your stress levels for why you always feel tired. Meanwhile, that annoyingly energetic person at your workplace goes to bed at the same time every single night, including weekends, and wakes up without an alarm sounding like a car crash. You'll probably think they're missing out on life or being too rigid with their schedule. They're not missing anything except the constant exhaustion and brain fog that's been your normal state for years. Your body runs on something called a circadian rhythm, which is basically an internal clock that regulates when you feel alert and when you feel sleepy. Every time you drastically change your sleep schedule, you're essentially giving yourself jet lag without ever leaving your city. Your body has no idea what time zone it's operating in, and it responds by making you feel terrible until it can adjust again. People who maintain the same bedtime every night train their bodies to expect sleep at a specific time, and after a few weeks of consistency, falling asleep becomes effortless. Their energy levels stabilize because their hormones release on a predictable schedule, and they stop needing caffeine to function like a normal human being. The freedom of staying up late isn't actually freedom if it makes you feel miserable for the next 3 days afterward. Making your bed, you wake up late, rush through getting ready, and leave your bed looking like a crime scene with sheets everywhere and pillows on the floor. You tell yourself it doesn't matter because you're just going to mess it up again tonight anyway. And spending 2 minutes on something that seems completely pointless feels like a waste of precious morning time. Fast forward to the end of a brutal day where everything went wrong, meetings ran late, and your boss added 3 urgent tasks to your already overwhelming workload. You drag yourself home exhausted, open your bedroom door, and the unmade bed greets you like a visual representation of your chaotic life. That messy bed isn't just unmade sheets. It's a reminder that you couldn't even handle the simplest task this morning. The people who swear by making their bed every single morning aren't doing it, because they are re-obsessed with perfect hospital corners or trying to impress guests. They're redoing it because completing one task before 7 in the morning gives their brain a tiny hit of accomplishment that sets the tone for everything else. Your subconscious registers that you finished something, proved you can follow through, and started the day with discipline instead of chaos. Navy SEALs are taught to make their beds every morning, not because military leaders care about interior decorating, but because small disciplines create the foundation for bigger disciplines. When you return home after a day that tried to break you, walking into a room with one thing in order provides a small anchor of stability. That made bed becomes proof that at least one thing in your life is under control, even when everything else feels like it's falling apart. Reading before bed, it's 11 at night, and you're lying in bed scrolling through your phone, telling yourself you'll stop after just one more video or one more post. An hour passes and your eyes are burning, your mind is racing with everyone else's drama and opinions, and you're somehow more wired than you were before you got into bed. You finally force yourself to put the phone down. But sleep doesn't come easily because your brain is still processing all the random information you just fed it. Your grandmother probably told you to read before bed, and you ignored her because that advice sounded ancient and boring compared to the endless entertainment available on your phone. Turns out she was absolutely right, and the science backs up what she knew from experience. When you scroll before bed, you're exposing yourself to blue light that tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime, suppressing melatonin production and making it harder to fall asleep. Reading an actual physical book does something completely different to your brain and body. The lack of blue light allows your melatonin to flow naturally, signaling to your body that sleep time is approaching. Your mind shifts from the hyperactive state of consuming rapid-fire content to the calmer state of following a single narrative thread. The physical act of holding a book and turning pages becomes a ritual that tells your brain it's time to wind down. People who read before bed fall asleep faster, sleep more deeply, and wake up feeling less anxious, because they did unspend their last waking hour absorbing other people's problems and comparing their lives to carefully curated highlight reels. That boring book sitting on your nightstand is actually better than any sleep supplement you could buy. Meal prepping Sunday afternoon arrives, and most people are watching TV or scrolling through their phones, trying to squeeze the last bit of relaxation out of their weekend. That person you know who meal preps is in their kitchen chopping vegetables and cooking multiple dishes at once, and you think they're wasting precious free time on something tedious? Fast forward to Wednesday evening, when you're restanding in your kitchen, staring at random ingredients, wondering how they could possibly become dinner. Your brain is fried from work, you're genuinely hungry, and the mental effort required to plan, cook, and clean up feels like climbing a mountain. The meal prepper doesn't experience this daily crisis because they already solved the problem days ago when their brain was functioning properly. They open their fridge and see ready-made meals that just need reheating, which means they eat within 10 minutes instead of spending an hour cooking or waiting for delivery. Spending 2 focused hours on Sunday eliminates 7 separate cooking sessions during the week, which saves you time overall. More importantly, it removes the daily negotiation your brain has with itself about what to eat when you have zero energy left. One batch of effort prevents an entire week of stressful decisions. Walking after meals, you just finished a massive holiday dinner with your family, and your body feels like it weighs 300 pounds as you sink into the couch. Everyone around you is doing the same thing, unbuckling their belts and declaring they need a nap immediately. This food coma feels inevitable, and moving seems physically impossible for the next 2 hours. Somewhere in your extended family, there is always that one person who gets up after eating and announces they're going for a walk around the neighborhood. Everyone else groans and makes jokes about how they can't just relax like a normal person. That person comes back 15 minutes later, looking refreshed and alert while everyone else is still melted into the furniture. Your body after a big meal is dealing with a massive spike in blood sugar, and when you immediately go horizontal on the couch, your metabolism actually slows down and that heavy feeling intensifies. Walking after eating helps your muscles absorb glucose from your bloodstream more efficiently, which stabilizes your blood sugar and prevents that brutal energy crash. Your digestive system functions better when you're upright and moving, which means less bloating and discomfort. 10 minutes of casual walking prevents 3 hours of couch paralysis. Drinking water first thing you wake up, and immediately reach for your phone to check notifications, then stumble toward the coffee maker, like it's a life support machine. The first thing entering your body after 8 hours of sleep is a highly caffeinated beverage. And you wonder why you feel jittery and anxious by mid-morning, even though you have unfaced any actual stress yet. People who look energized and clear-headed before 9 in the morning are ungenetically blessed with better morning genes than you have. They're drinking a full glass of water within minutes of waking up, which sounds absurdly simple and completely ineffective compared to the magical powers of caffeine. Your brain, after sleeping all night, is actually running in a mild state of dehydration, and everything from your thinking speed to your mood suffers because of it. During sleep, your body continues using water for essential functions like breathing and temperature regulation. But obviously you're not drinking anything for those 8 hours. Your blood gets thicker. Your brain tissue literally contracts slightly from fluid loss, and your organs are working harder than necessary to maintain basic operations. When you skip rehydrating and go straight to coffee, you're adding a diuretic that makes the dehydration even worse. Water first thing does something your morning coffee cannot do, which is actually restore your body to proper functioning instead of just masking the symptoms of being depleted. The people who drink water before anything else report feeling naturally alert within 20 minutes. Without the crash that comes later from relying solely on stimulants, your body is roughly 60% water, not 60% espresso. Treating it accordingly makes a bigger difference than most people want to admit because the solution feels too boring to possibly work. Planning your day the night before you sit down at your desk in the morning ready to be productive, and then you open your laptop to face complete chaos. 17 browser tabs from yesterday are still open. Your email inbox has 63 unread messages. And you have a vague sense that deadlines are approaching, but no clarity on which ones actually matter. The first 90 minutes of your workday disappear while you just figuring out what you should be doing, and by then your peak mental energy has already been wasted. People who start working immediately without confusion spent 15 minutes the previous evening deciding exactly what they would tackle first today. Your evening brain is calmer and more rational than your groggy morning brain, which means you make better decisions about what actually matters versus what just feels urgent. Something remarkable happens overnight. While you sleep, because your subconscious mind starts processing the tasks you identified before bed. When morning arrives, your brain has already been working on solutions without you consciously thinking about them. Starting work without a plan means constantly making micro-decisions about what to do next. And each tiny choice drains mental energy before you've accomplished anything meaningful. Those 15 minutes tonight determine whether tomorrow morning feels focused or feels like drowning. No phone for the first hour after waking your eyes open in the morning, and your hand immediately reaches for your phone. On the nightstand before you've even fully woken up. Within seconds, you're scrolling through notifications, emails, text messages, and social media, absorbing everyone else's problems and priorities before you've given a single thought to your own day. People who protect their first hour from phone distractions report feeling significantly more in control of their entire day. When you check your phone immediately, you're letting external demands hijack your mental state before you had any chance to set your own intentions or priorities. Your brain in the morning is in a uniquely creative and receptive state, and flooding it with information overload destroys that clarity instantly. The most successful people use that first hour for themselves. Whether it's planning, exercising, or just thinking clearly without digital interference. Your phone will still be there after breakfast, but your morning mental clarity disappears the moment you start scrolling. Cold showers every morning, your alarm screams at you, and your first thought is wishing you could stay in bed longer. You drag yourself to the bathroom and turn the shower to the hottest setting possible, letting warm water slowly convince your body that being awake isn't terrible. An hour later, you're drinking your second coffee and still feeling foggy and unmotivated. Athletes and high performers start their day with cold water exposure, and it sounds like a masochistic ritual that only extreme people could tolerate. The research behind cold showers makes hot showers look like a mistake we've all been making forever. Cold water hitting your skin triggers survival mode and releases neurotransmitters, including dopamine and norepinephrine that make you feel instantly alert and energized. Studies show this effect compares to drinking multiple cups of coffee without the jittery anxiety or afternoon crash. Research shows people taking regular cold showers reduce their sick days by nearly 30%, and your metabolism increases as your body generates heat. Starting your morning by conquering cold water makes every other obstacle feel manageable by comparison. The person who handles freezing water before breakfast? Be intimidated by difficult conversations or challenging projects later. That mental toughness transfers to everything else you face during your day.